Okay, so I promised that I will make a video on how I feel about the deep Archimedea and elite Archimedea. In this video, I will be diving into the experience that I had with the game mode itself, give you my 2 cents, but do please take it as a reference as everyone has different view on how endgame content should be, and adding on that everyone just has a different experience due to the randomized loadout. Without further ado, let's dive in. I have played Deep Archimedea twice by the time when I was making this video, so my opinions should be rather set instead of uncertainty. If you are still yet to reach this far into Warframe, worry not, this video will not contain any form of spoilers that will ruin your first time experience. So feel free to watch it all, form your own opinions and some expectation when it comes to this game mode. Let's start from the mission design itself. The mission design consists of 3 randomly chosen game modes from 6 game modes that are presented in the caveat. These 3 missions will have additional modifiers. All of this will impact the difficulty of the content itself. It is just a really simple design, existing mission with far higher difficulty with one catch: randomized loadouts. This kind of mechanics has existed since the introduction of Durery. It should be very familiar to you once you reach it. If you are not familiar with it, it is just 3 random choices each for your Warframe, primary, secondary, and melee. Deep Archimedea is the very first proper endgame content we ever had in Warframe. It has proved itself to be very challenging for many as far as I heard. For me, the Deep Archimedea is more rewarding than Nurture Cell itself, and a new mechanics of 3 missions in a row with no chance to customize your loadout in the middle of the mission is surely new to this game. It forces players to be very careful with their loadouts and should no mistakes be found in their gears. There are modifiers that are actually great. For me, I found the myopic munitions, which is enemies can only be harmed within 15 meters from you, quite challenging, as now it forces you to be in close combat, increasing the risk of danger. It makes things start to threaten you, but not to a point of annoyance. The elemental barrier that you need a matching flask to break those barriers is a very nice addition as well. Some additional excitements won't hurt as well, at least it spices up the mission a bit. I had some great fun playing the mission itself. It's just that, nothing much to say. But it is not just rainbows and sunshines, they are bound to have some storms and tornadoes. The problem I had with the game mode can be categorized into a few. The first one is loadouts, though it is just minor for me. It's mostly due to the RNG factor that will ultimately affect the final loadout you can have. RNG are completely random and no set patterns can ever be found. If your loadouts this week are not very good, you are bound to not making it, especially with the 4 negatives that most of you will probably bring along too. This is just an issue that I see it being quite dominant in the future, so it is still worth a mention. As far as I have experienced, I have yet to be ruined by the bad RNG, so that's why this is here. Second one is mission modifiers. While they are good modifiers that adds challenge instead of causing annoyance, but this is real life. In the good, they are bound to have bad hidden within. Modifiers like making all units having overguard, while it is not a very big deal, but it just makes half of the game not optimal for such choices, and again, just feel artificial. It's not adding challenges but sheer annoyance when you face them. Making enemies tankier and immune to crowd control wouldn't help in making the content felt challenging. Cold procs exist. You can easily mod call on your sentinel and still slow them down a bit. Modifiers like losing 2 energy per enemy around you is also very annoying. It makes melee gameplay or close combat completely impossible, equivalent to take away abilities from a Warframe, defeating the purpose of diversity. It doesn't add challenge to the gameplay itself, but makes player feel frustrated for just being close to an enemy. Third is the mission itself. It's just the same, but with modifiers like sorties. This is just a personal gripe, and you might have opinions that says otherwise. My reasoning for such is that I just feel like it's the same game mode with slight change in flow. There's no new element of surprise, an interesting twist to make this endgame content feel special. It feels like I'm just playing the same game mode that I used to play, but slightly harder. It feels cheap, uninteresting, and low quality, despite it being a quite fun game mode for me. In the context of an endgame content, it just doesn't convey the feeling of endgame to me compared to Natural Cell. Natural Cell, though not hard enough, it felt special. It is a completely new game mode specifically designed for this mission only. It's engaging enough that I feel like this is a proper endgame content we should have. It has that value, not counting in the speedrunning capability that the game mode can provide. It felt specifically crafted for it. As a player myself, I typically don't ask the game itself to throw the hardest thing they could ever come up to me, but something that have me bat an eye on it, something that attracts me, something that brings life to the existing game mode itself, and not just modifiers that adds difficulty and annoyance and result in taking away certain mechanics that is in the game. 4 is the cooperative viability of the game mode itself. Though the developer themselves emphasize that this game mode is designed to be around a squad, but I feel like it is more of a numbers game to help mitigate the difficulty instead of everyone actually cooperating. There is no incentivize on everyone working together to achieve the same goal. It is still the good old one-man army that carries the game mode itself. Rhino maze or whatever maze, who knows what he/she is doing, will carry the whole squad by doing everything by themselves like always. The game mode itself didn't challenge the concept of one-man army. The difficulty is there, but if one guy can carry the squad, what is the point of cooperative gameplay? So, yapping aside, what improvements I can possibly suggest? First is the co-op side of Warframe. I can suggest that rather than thinking about what obstacles you can put in the way to stop us from steamrolling, you can choose to explore further the slogan of the game itself, Space Ninja. Come to think of it, did the game truly encapsulate the feeling of Space Ninja? I always feel like this is a term long lost in the game. Everyone didn't feel like a Space Ninja, but rather a power trip fantasy simulator. The emphasis on the definition of ninja is lost. Aim, shoot, sneak, assassinate, etc. Why don't just design an endgame around it? The current game mode itself doesn't communicate enough cooperation. You can have one guy stand on a certain platform, shoot things, doors open, one helps kill, on the other side, pick something, place in whatever place, another platform appears, and so on. This is just an example. You can continue to modify the cycle whatever the way you found fit. All it needs is the emphasis on the cooperative gameplay. The game itself has become a solo game. There is no need much of cooperation except a few. I think with the endgame content, you can properly introduce the concept of cooperation with forcing everyone to complete a certain task. Whether it is shoot, pick up something, do this, do that, or whatever the thing you can come up with. It fits into the description of this game mode is designed to be completed with a squad or something. While you can solo this, it is bound to be slower and it should be more rewarded to have a random mate with you to complete the task, and it should not be too difficult to execute, as I know that majority of Warframe players have some form of skill issue due to the overexposure to branded gameplay. Second is the mission design. The mission design itself lacks the variety to make it special for an endgame content. With the existing formula, there are two ways. One, you can choose to explore the existing mission further, develop the idea, adding slight cooperative elements into it as well, removing modifiers that conveys frustration. Let's say you are in an alchemy mission, you can now design the machine to be destroyable and demands someone to help defend. And someone had to constantly help maintain the gauge, preventing it from getting to the maximum instead of just when the machine starts to cook up the element, and keep it at desired percentage will start regenerate the health and shield of the machine in a considerable pace. But when max gauge, the machine will stop absorbing element flask or continue the cooking like before. Someone can still choose to help killing, but now teamwork is more important than before, on top of existing good and engaging modifiers like the elemental barrier that requires matching flasks to break. Solo is possible, but definitely harder and slower. This will at least incentivize everyone to work together to a degree to benefit everyone. 2. You can keep the existing formula and still remove some modifiers that causes frustration. But now you give interesting twists to the mission only, even more further explore compared to the first. But no much cooperative elements added, friendly for solo players and still benefit more on cooperative play. Same alchemy mission? Let's say the mission formula stays the same, but now with more twists that forms it into another variation of the existing mission. The alchemy mission, while it is still the same like always, now the machine slowly drops in shield like 1% per second, then health. The matching elemental fixing 10% of its shield or HP or something close to that. Enemies will hit the flask, causing it to drop slightly in elemental amount percentage, like maybe 0.5% per second. With the machine reaching 100% at both sides, you still do the same thing. But now you are demanded to pick up a small shield to be placed around the machine, as now machine is vulnerable to enemy damage and will not drop HP by its own. The shields will prevent any damage to be dealt to the machine, and it doesn't last long. It allows engaging play with constant attention as well. Though I'm just using alchemy as an example, but the key points are there. So, this is what improvements I think I can give. With this much rambling, did I actually enjoy Deep Archimedea or Elite Archimedea? Yes, I still enjoy this content, though it is not perfect or close to being the most phenomenal content introduction I have seen in years. If I want to rate this, I will give it a 7 out of 10. Good content and I had some fun with it, but not without glaring flaws that is clearly seen in the game mode itself. Feel free to form your own opinions. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. See you all next time. Goodbye.